Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we're playing Green-White Tokens. This is a list that I found from Abaco. They got a trophy with this list, and it looks pretty sweet, and it uses a new card from Lorwyn Eclipsed. Basically, the idea is to take a somewhat traditional Coggates deck with Sacred Cats, using that philosophy of having a creature that comes back from the graveyard, and just amping it up to 100. So not only are we playing Sacred Cat, but we're playing Lunarch Veteran, Gold Meadow Nomad, and even Anointer Priest, all of which are relatively cheap creatures that can come back for another cost. The Anointer Priest is actually quite expensive to bring back, 4 mana to embalm, but this means our 16 main creatures all have 2 lives, and we have a lot of ways to mill them into our graveyard to just get them as additional card advantage. We can mill them with Cash Grab, Malevolent Rumble, or a 1 of Midnight Tilling, also a new card. And then since we're doing a bunch of milling, we're also playing Battle Screech and Prismatic Strands. This gives us 24 cards, or 40% of our deck, that has some ability from the graveyard, with 9 ways to put them into the graveyard. We're also playing a 1 of Dawnbringer Cleric, because it's got some decent utility, and 4 Thraben Charms as removal. And we are a Gates deck, because that's obviously how you make these small creatures powerful enough to win the game. 4 Basilisk Gate, 4 Citadel Gate, 4 Manor Gate, a bunch of Plains, and 4 Selesnya Gate. In our sideboard, we have 4 Journey to Nowhere, 2 Standard Bearer, 4 Dust to Dust, 4 Guardian of the Guild Pact, and a 1 of Nile Spellbomb. We could get black mana off of our Citadel Gate or Manor Gate if we bring this in, but obviously we're not playing Relic of Progenitus, because again, 40% of our deck wants to be in the graveyard. We don't want to be exiling that from our own yard at all. This list looks pretty sweet. I figured we'd take it for a league and see how we do. Alright, on the play here, and we have just a 1-lander. This hand looks reasonable enough if we had 2 lands, but we got to mulligan that. We're a lands deck, so obviously we want to keep as many lands as possible. This one's almost got too many. 3 Basilisk Gates. I think we might keep it. Cash Grab can find a creature or something, and obviously can also mill some more. So I want to put back a Basilisk Gate. Obviously having multiple is great, but the colorless mana could be painful. I think 2 is going to be plenty for now. And of course, something I didn't mention, obviously we have a bunch of Basilisk Gates here, but the Cash Grab and the Malevolent Rumbles can also help find our Basilisk Gates really quickly, which is also very nice. So just for mana efficiency, we're going to just Cash Grab, and I'm going to do it now so we don't get counterspelled. Plains or Anointer Priest. Seeing as we don't have any other creatures, I'm just going to take the Anointer Priest. We can play that and then start pumping it up. If it gets countered or killed, we can embalm it. They cycle a Troll of Khazad-dûm. Okay. Not a lot of Dimir decks play Troll, so that's interesting. We'll play Anointer and a Guildgate. Exhume. Yep, that makes sense as to why they would have that. We get a Gold Meadow Nomad. So I can make this 5 power and attack in, and then also play the Gold Meadow. I think that makes sense. If we knew they were exhuming, or maybe could have anticipated it because, again, Dimir decks don't often play Troll, maybe I should have left up Thraben Charm, but it's okay. We do have, potentially, like if they don't have a lot of removal, we have a fast clock with these gates, and we do have a Prismatic Strands, which I'll probably just use here to prevent 6 damage. Striped Riverwinder. Okay, so they are just a Dimir Reanimator deck. Ooh, plus Delver. Interesting. I think, well, I could do it now just so that I can pump and also attack. I think that makes sense. 6 is a lot of damage. Looks like they're also missing a land drop here, which is decent for us. Ooh, another Priest. So I kind of want to hold up a Thraben Charm for if they have another Exhume. So I could just play Anointer Priest and then hold up Thraben Charm. I think that's better here. I also can just Thraben Charm the Troll if I really want. So let's swing for 2. And the next turn, I can pump for +6. If I get an untapped land, I could even pump for 6 to 2 different creatures, which would be pretty nice. They go for a Brainstorm, and they don't flip off a Delver? Off a Brainstorm? They have 7 creatures in hand? That's like the only explanation. That's crazy. Do I just Thraben Charm this creature then? Because they don't have an Exhume, it seems. Like, it's not currently doing anything, but I also want to leave myself open to just double gating here if I get an untapped land, which I wouldn't mind. Okay, Cash Grab. Let's play that. We just get a Guildgate and mill 2 Rumbles and a Cash Grab. Okay, not great hits, but that's okay. Give +6 here and swing with the team. We know they're not hitting removal anytime soon, because those would be spells. They're going to pass. Thraben Charm. Well, I think we just pump up 2 of these. And I mean, they shouldn't have a cast down or anything because, oh, I was obviously supposed to play this gate first. If they have a cast down, why would they not have put it on top of the Brainstorm? I don't understand, but it's fine. All right, they killed 1 and chumped the other, so it didn't actually matter that we didn't play this gate first, but obviously I should have done that still. Ponder. Just going to gate up both of these, then play like a cat for the turn. If they have a cast down, attack for 8, play a cat, pass. They play a Terror and a Delver. So if I get a land, I can Thraben Charm the Delver and then pump both of these for lethal. All right. Well, they had some interesting things there. So we get a Spell Bomb, and Journey's good for Terror and Troll, but it doesn't hit the Striped Riverwinder. For that, we would need Guardians. I think we just have enough chump blockers and Strands that we probably don't need them after all. But Journey does seem good. Just in case they exhume, we need to have that removal. Kind of hard to know what to cut, but we'll do a couple creatures. We'll just bring in 3 Journeys here and the Spell Bomb. Another hand with no creatures, but we do have a cash grab, Journey to Nowhere for the early Troll, so I think we'll be okay. I mean, if they get an early Striped Riverwinder, then maybe not so much. But Tapland is nice because that means that they can't exhume until we can have a cash grab up, unless they like Dark Ritual or something. They're going to Delver. Do I want to Rumble or Cash Grab here? I think we'll just Instant Speed Cash Grab. Like, theoretically, if they cycle a Troll or a Riverwinder and then go for a Exhume, Instant Speed Cash Grab can, like, put something in our graveyard that could then get reanimated, at the very least. They do flip the Aberration this time off a Ponder. Swing for 3, and they're just going to pass. We'll grab. We hit a Priest, a Cat, and just lands. We can get both of these back from the grave, plus we have a cat in hand, so I think we'll just take a land. I guess we should take an untapped land just so that we have access to it if we really want. Another cash grab and a cat. I could Journey this if I want to do that so quickly. Just play a cat, and I guess we'll bring back another cat so I can play a Gate here. If they have like Suffocating Fumes, this is kind of worse, but that's okay. I'm going to put this on black so that if I draw my Spell Bomb, I can draw a card. I cycle a Troll. Swing for 3. Alright, we get another cat. Well, now we can start offsetting most of the damage they're dealing, assuming they don't kill something here. Cast out is totally fine if that's what they want to use. Play a Gate, and I could leave up Strands. Kind of a waste to use Strands on this. I think we just go for another cat and a cash grab. They Ponder. Swing for 3. We'll cash grab. Get back a Gate. Didn't mill anything else relevant. Another Journey. Gain 2. Play a Rumble. We hit a Battle Screech. Another land here. I could Journey this. Currently, I'm just not that worried about it, though. Don't think we need to waste the removal spell, so we'll just pass. They cycle another Troll. Next turn, I can Embalm the Anointer Priest and then flashback Battle Screech. They don't attack. Nice. Well, that's a nice time to do this. Embalm. Whenever a creature token you control enters, you gain a life, even itself. Then we'll flashback Battle Screech. They're going to counter that. That's fine. Play a Gate. Pass. We've milled a lot. We're looking for a Basilisk Gate. They cast down the Anointer Priest. Here's an Exhume now that we have no creatures in our grave. Get back a Riverwinder, which has got Hexproof, and a Terror. Swing for 3. So we have Strands. Probably should just Journey some of these guys. Strands holds them off for now, but we'll use our mana. Go for a Journey in case they want to like counterspell. Obviously I can't take the Riverwinder, but I can get the Terror or the Aberration, which we're going to go for the Terror, obviously. They Brainstorm and Murmuring Mystic. Okay, we have a Journey for that too. We'll gain some life off the Riverwinder here with the Strands, because we still deal lifelink damage. Alright, I was hoping for Basilisk Gate, and they Brainstorm, so they do get 1 bird, which is annoying. Not the worst, but take away the Mystic. Play Gold Meadow Nomad. I could attack with these. If they trade, I can bring one back. I don't know. Feels like kind of a waste of one of these guys that could be, you know, a 7/7 with a Basilisk Gate. Play an Aquifer and swing. They have Counterspell mana up this time, so I'm gonna do this before blocks, so that if they want to Counterspell, I don't get, like, all of my cats eaten. And since they didn't, I still get to gain my lifelink. They have Okiba Gang Shinobi. Fair enough. Returning the Delver. I only have a Plains to discard, so not that big of a deal, but good to know about that they're running that. I feel like a Basilisk Gate just does wonders for us right here. But we got a Lunarch Veteran. We'll play that. Pass. Flip the Delver right away off a Ponder, and they Exhume again, getting a Troll. Maybe I should have chumped with one of these before so that the Exhume would bring back a guy. We'll block here. Another Veteran. Gains us a life. Exile the Gold Meadow Nomad to get another 1/1. Gain 2 life. Brainstorm. Exhume again. Don't attack with the Riverwinder this time. I could quintuple block the Troll. Otherwise we're taking like 10, or I could just triple block it, but then it attacks again. Yeah, I think we just triple block with the Veterans so that we can get some flyers. Plus we want to keep our lifelinkers for if we get the Gate that we need. I mean, I guess our best draw is like a Malevolent Rumble into a Basilisk Gate, but also milling like more cats, Prismatic Strands, Battle Screeches. But if we just keep getting Plains, we're definitely dead. I think we have 1 more turn to survive here. I can't even block both Trolls. So actually, block. Pretty close to dead, for sure. Didn't attack with everything, so we can block here. We have to triple block a troll. And then we're currently taking 10, gaining 2, which is Xaxes, so I have to block here. And then even if we get a gate, we don't have any cats that can attack this turn, so I think we're dead. Lunarch Veteran. Alright, well, if we just found one Basilisk Gate in our the top half of our deck, I think we would have been okay there. I did realize that Guardian of the Guild Pact actually seems pretty good here. Now, I already thought about the fact that like it can block the Terrors and the Serpents, but specifically if we mill one, it'll just sit in our graveyard, and then when they exhume stuff, it'll get brought back. So I actually kind of want to bring those back in, or bring those in with the Midnight Tillings, and maybe we don't need like the Screeches here. And Journey would be fine, but it feels like it's just too slow. Maybe with the Guardians we don't need the Journeys as much. Take one of those out. I want to bring back in the Midnight Tilling because I want to have as many hits to find these and the gates as possible. I think this might be fine. My inclination is not to cut any of the 1-drops. Alright, we at least have a Basilisk Gate, and we have a creature and a Midnight Tilling. Play a Manor Gate. They got a Delver. Rumble. Well, I think we want to just get our tap lands down, so let's do this. The next turn I can play a tap land and like a Rumble. They blind flip again off a Ponder. Pretty annoying, although they mistakenly don't attack and also they don't ponder. That might have been intentional, but interesting. I mean, I guess they could have Spell Pierce here, in which case I could wait for the Tilling, but I might actually want the creature. No, I don't think there's a reason to. We're going to do Citadel Gate on black here, and then just Midnight Tilling during their turn. They go for the Riverwinder. If they go for an Exhume, we'll Tilling in response and hope to hit a Guardian. Start by cycling a Troll. There's the Exhume. Come on. Give me something good. You may return a permanent. We did hit a Guardian. And a Spell Bomb and an Anointer Priest. I think we just get the Spell Bomb for future Exhumes. Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll Exhume a Guardian onto the field. Now they can get Troll here, which means they'll have a guy that, yeah, can't get blocked very easily. But we just need a couple more creatures so we can block it all at once. Lunarch Veteran, Spell Bomb. I probably want to put Spell Bomb on the table. So I think I'm playing this, and I'm going Veteran, Rumble, and then this way I could play like a Sacred Cat or something. We get 2 Prismatic Strands in the graveyard. Okay, that's not bad. We also gain a life here. We're currently 1 power short of actually blocking this guy effectively, so I'm probably not going to block this turn. I do have Prismatic Strands if I really want, so I might as well just attack here. But we can prevent any other creatures from getting exhumed. We just got to deal with this Troll, which next turn I can embalm this Anointer Priest and hold up Prismatic Strands. That should probably do it. I mean, obviously they could have cast down or whatever, but still. And once we stabilize, I mean, I guess we're taking a hit for 9 here. We go to 9. And then they have an Aberration. I might just want to use a Prismatic Strands here, actually, just to not take 6. Because going to 9 feels bad. Feels pretty dangerous. They Brainstorm. They cast down. So I can't triple block. But I wasn't gonna anyway, so that's fine. Oh, they have a Bajuka Bog. Well, that's less fun. Come on. Well, we're gonna flashback Prismatic Strands. I guess I would have done both if I had known. Both strands. For black. Ugh, losing the Veteran and the Anointer Priest is really unfortunate. We need a Sacred Cat for this Basilisk Gate pretty badly. They swing for 3. Another Basilisk Gate. Oh, okay, wait. Does that change things? Because I can just gate, use my spawn. I can give plus 10 to the Guardian, and we just attack for 12. And then next turn it just kills them. We don't hold up a Strands, but they currently are only hitting for 9. I can't imagine they can deal 6 more in a blue-black deck. So we hit for 12. They go to 6. Then next turn I play a Gate, and I can pump for plus 6, which should be lethal. Yeah, I think we'll just do that. Hit for 12. And they have to have a way to kill this or gain life or something. I guess they could have like an Unexpected Fangs. It would not be an unreasonable card in this matchup. Well, with this deck, I mean. They have so many big creatures. But they don't, and we just win the match. All right, that was a close one, but we got there. You can now pick up my comprehensive guide to Esper Cryo Affinity, including 38 sideboard matchups, and I just put out a big update for my Black Sack guide, including a slightly different deck list. I began offering coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your Pauper game to the next level, and I'm accepting deck donations, so if you desperately want me to play a deck that I usually wouldn't play, something like Elves, then you can make me do that for a small fee. I've started posting a League video every single day, not to mention streaming at least a couple times a week on Twitch, but I'm not going to be able to keep that up forever unless I can get a little bit more help from the community. Any of the ways I've just mentioned are great ways to help me out, or you can even subscribe and support me on a monthly basis. All right, round 2 here, and we have all creatures, a lot of life to gain. We'll give it a try. This is probably not the best type of hand. We probably want more lands, and we want some of our green ways to find not just lands, but milling things. But, I don't know, we can cast everything in our hand. We have a lot of life gain, so we can stall for a while. If we're against any sort of burn deck, like we're going to crush. Spellbomb is pretty unfortunate. We are a graveyard deck. Rumble's a nice draw. Start with Veteran because it's going to gain us the most life this way. I wish this could destroy artifacts. Be so good. Wellspring. I assume we're just against like gardens like that. If we don't draw a land, we're definitely going to rumble here. We do draw land, so I don't have to rumble. If I just want to play some creatures, yeah, I kind of think I will. Anointer Priest and a Sacred Cat. If they are gardens, then getting a bunch of creatures on the field is decent, you know, trying to attack them. Obviously, they get Crypt Ratsed pretty badly, but this one at least has 3 toughness, so it doesn't die that easily. And I figured this way, next turn, if I really wanted to, I could rumble into a Basilisk Gate and use it in that turn for +3. Probably not what I'm going to be doing, but it is a possibility. It is going to suck when they Crypt Rats our whole board and then Spellbomb it all away. I will probably cry. Here's a cat. They play a swamp and just pass, probably just with a draw 2, I would assume, and some removal probably. Certainly with all the mana up, there's no way, even if I hit a Basilisk Gate, that I'm going to be using it this turn, so let's just swing for 3, see what they got. Defile, yup, hit for 2. This is 4 mana to Embalm, so I can't bring it back. Otherwise I would get our value while we can, but we're going to go for a Rumble and probably fill our graveyard with a bunch of stuff that they can get rid of. Another priest. Sure, we'll take this gate though. And gain a life. Play a nomad. I kind of think I should sandbag some stuff. Let's keep the nomad. Maybe I should have rumbled to look for another land because the next turn I priest. I don't know. But I just feel like if I play the nomad and then they wipe the board and then exile everything, I've kind of lost most of my creatures. So let's slow roll some of it. They're going to kill the cat here with a cast down. That makes me feel like they're going to spellbomb just to draw a card. Well, yeah, Spinning Darkness, maybe. Pretty good. A lot of value for them. Colony Garden, Anointer Priest. I mean, that gains us a life by playing it before the Rumble, but life is not super relevant in this matchup, and I think I'd rather just see if I get anything else I'd want to cast. We do get a Battle Screech. I'll take the gate, though. Play that. I can't Battle Screech this turn no matter what, so let's just play an Anointer Priest. Leave our spawn around. I could have played, like, unearthed the Gold Meadow Nomad in case they have another Spellbomb right here, but I also would have been just upgrading one spawn into like a 1/1, which doesn't feel that much better. Another Rumble. Let's go for that. 2 more Battle Screeches and a Manor Gate. Well, here, I mean, I guess we just Battle Screech a million times and hope there's no Crypt Rats. Play the Nomad. Well, we Battle Screech once. I guess I could just leave it at this. I could play the Dawnbringer Cleric for basically no value and then flashback another Battle Screech. I think I'm going to leave it. If they don't have a Crypt Rats, well, we haven't found a Basilisk Gate, so that's unfortunate, but we at least have 5 power on the board. If we find the Basilisk Gate, we can hit for like 11. They draw a bunch of cards. Wellspring, Colony Garden, Campfire. Give me that gate. The Basilisk variety, come on. Yeah, I could flashback another one. This is not going to be enough damage quickly enough. Maybe I should. I'm going to play this Dawnbringer Cleric to exile this Eviscerator's Insight. So actually, sure, we'll set up to flashback another Battle Screech. They didn't have the Crypt Rats that turn, at least. Maybe they just realized it wasn't enough damage to really be worried, but in my estimation, I probably would have Crypt Ratsed that if I had it. They block 1 and take 2. I'll play Dawnbringer to exile this Insight. Flashback a Screech. And I think it's the best play to just play out a Guild Gate, even though it shows that we have nothing in hand. But if I get like another gate, I would like to, like a Basilisk Gate, I would like to have played that land, so they go for an Eviscerator's Insight. I do almost feel like with the Battle Screeches, maybe I should be playing some Guardian's Pledges. Like, Basilisk Gate is good to... They just play a Troll. That's not the worst thing ever. Basilisk Gate is great to go tall on one creature, which I will gladly will if I get that. But we also just can go super wide here. I guess we're in green. Maybe we even have a better pump spell. We discard, and we just get a Plains. Well, I could attack with these. We get in for 3. I think we are living no fear, and we're going to flashback yet another Battle Screech. The best they had was a Troll. Maybe that's because they want to start dealing damage, and they are going to do that before they go for a Crypt Rats or something, but I don't know. Now that we didn't draw a gate, I'm going to bluff something here. I would love to draw a Rumble, finding Basilisk Gate, milling a Prismatic Strands so I can have some insurance against the Crypt Rats. That shouldn't be too much to ask for. They are attacking. It's possible they also just have like 3 trolls in hand. They're going to just start playing them one after another. Map onto the plant token so it can block. They hit a Wellspring. Okay, cash grab. Roughly what I wanted. We do find Thraben Charms are good, but obviously we're taking a Basilisk Gate here. Put the cards into your graveyard. Okay, this is tripping me up. I would like to take the Basilisk Gate. Play that, and they have a blocker, so I gotta pump a bird, even though I don't, like, if they have a kill spell, they're gonna go for the bird, but I don't want them to chump block, right? Maybe I just do that and I don't care if they chump block. That actually should be better, I think. +6 to the spawn, +7? Oh, 7, yeah. And we'll just attack with everything with power. They chump the 7 power guy, sacrifice it to draw 2, Pulse of Marasa, a swamp. Okay. I thought it was gonna be a Suffocating Fumes, which would have been a lot worse. Pulse is fine, and they activate Campfire. They're taking 10 damage here, though. That's not bad at all. If I can get another Basilisk Gate, oh, we'll really be in it then. So I could have hit for, assuming they didn't have a removal spell, they're still sandbagging. I could have hit for like 7 more damage. Well, they would have blocked one of these, so 6 more damage. But this next turn, like, they're not going to have a blocker, potentially, for like a ground guy, so it might be better. I don't know. There's a Lembas. Swing with the Troll. We're down to 20. They discard a land. We get a Thraben Charm. That's not bad. See, they have Eviscerator's Insight here. We'll pump a Spawn. They do have the Fumes this time. That's really unfortunate. We get to keep 3 of our creatures. I maybe should have pumped one of our 2 toughness guys for this reason then. Ugh. Well, I guess I Thraben Charmed their Troll. And these guys have no power at all, so. Yep, I was just hoping they wouldn't find one of those. But, yeah, I was trying to pump the creature, of course, that has the least impact, a Spawn. But I probably should have thought about the fact that they could have had a Fumes, pumped the Nomad instead, because then I could have still hit in for like 7, which would be a big difference. Witch's Cottage gets back Troll. Tithing Blade hits Nomad. Thorn of the Black Rose. Well, if they just have a removal spell, which I assume they would not play a Thorn without a way to kill one of these guys, then they're just gonna get us. We have a gate. I will pump the Anointer Priest. I'll attack with both, and if they have a cast down, I just concede. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would have made a difference if I had pumped the different creature there, but that was unfortunate. Guardian, they do have Tithing Blade, but it's probably just like a 1 or 2 of. Guardian still seems worth it. Spellbomb, maybe. Dust to Dust. They have some artifacts, but not enough. Like, Campfire's annoying, but not enough to probably warrant anything. Strands is kind of necessary because of Crypt Rats, potentially, but they were playing Suffocating Fumes in the main deck. They might not be playing Crypt Rats. Dawnbringer Cleric was, like, okay, but I don't think it's really worth keeping. I don't think going wide is actually the strategy here with the Battle Screeches. Like, it was working for a little while, but then the Fumes killed us. Whereas if we just keep putting one guy out that becomes enormous with the gate, I think that's the way we win. Spellbomb, they do have Pulse of Marasa, Eviscerator's Insight, Witch's Cottage, Tithing Blade, Campfire. That's a lot of ways, a lot of reasons that the graveyard's relevant. We'll try this. I mean, we already have Thraben Charms for the graveyard and it as kill spells. Dawnbringer's okay, but was kind of underwhelming, and Dust to Dust again, I just don't think it's great. If we get a Guardian down, we need to try to protect it against a Tithing Blade as best as possible. Alright, a couple cash grabs and some lands, sure. Do I just want to start with a cat and start attacking from the very get-go? I think yes. Like, it's either that or I could cash grab a turn earlier, but that doesn't make that big of a difference. And, I don't know, the damage could add up. Another cat for 1. Play a cat. Gate on green. They have a Campfire to offset our damage. Spellbomb. They'll take 2. We're going to play a Citadel Gate on green and just pass with the cash grab up. A Campfire. Alright, grab that cash, and we have Guardian. I think Guardians are good enough, we probably just take it. And then if I need to hit a land, I'll just cash grab for the other land. Well, for our land here. Anointer Priest. Swing. They'll take it. Cash grab. 2 veterans, a Strands, and a gate. Alright. Any order, we'll grab that gate this time. White. Yeah, this one will go on black for the Spellbomb. 3 Lunak veterans. Well, we'll play another cat. This one can flashback a Strands if they get like a Crypt Rats. Obviously, if they just Suffocating Fumes us, can't do much about that though. They activate Campfire. Drown in Sorrow. Yep. And then they're going to Bojuka Bog us, I bet. And it's going to be, yep, outrageously exactly what they needed. Citadel Gate. Well, I wanted to, I mean, I'm just going to play the Guardian. We're already so close to losing because we just lost like 7 cards from that Bojuka Bog, plus the Drown, that if they Tithing Blade this, I'll probably just concede. This is already a very bad matchup for us. I could have played the Anointed Priest first, but it feels like it's an extra turn to wait for the Guardian to attack. I think my best bet is to top deck a Basilisk Gate, or rather like a Malevolent Rumble into a Basilisk Gate here and start using it. And I just think if they have the Tithing Blade here, like, what are the chances if they have the Tithing Blade they can't find a cast down or something for the Anointed Priest too? Pretty low, I think. I don't know. They don't have anything here. And we find the Basilisk Gate, so who's laughing now? Pump for 7, swing, Anointer Priest, and might as well play the Spell Bomb too. They activate Campfire. Play a Wellspring, Colony Garden. Oh, look, a Chump Blocker. Psych. Plains. Pump the Guardian. Oh, I used the wrong land there. I specifically put this on black so I could hold it up for the Spell Bomb in case I want to use it, which I probably won't this turn, but it would have been nice to leave that open. We'll do that for next time. They block here, so we have them on a 2 more turn clock because they can gain some life off the Campfire, but we'll hold up the Spell Bomb in case there's like a Pulsum Rasa to make sure that doesn't give them an extra turn. They just have a Troll of Khazad-dûm. Totally fine. It does block the Anointer Priest, but not the Guardian, obviously. And even if I get a gate here, it would not quite give us lethal. We'd be 1 short still. But swing with the Guardian. I think we're going to pass. Part of me thought that I could crack the Spell Bomb in case I can get just a random dork in case they get 2 Tithing Blades here. But I think it's probably better to hold the Spell Bomb in case they get like a Pulsum Rasa to gain an extra turn. And they concede, so slamming the Guardian, praying for a gate actually won us the game. Sometimes you get lucky, and that worked for us there. I think we can have an okay match here. It's just we need to not get absolutely blown out by a Bojuka Bog there. Or I guess we just need to resolve a Guardian. Although they might have taken out some Tithing Blades and things like that because they saw we were super go-wide. And now they'll certainly be bringing them all back in, especially like Extracted Confessions and stuff. Yeah, hand is okay. Not outrageously good or anything, but seems fine. Well, let's try to play things a little slower this time, since running out a bunch of creatures and then having them all killed and then bogged was not a winning strategy. We won the game, but it wasn't because of that strategy. So I go for a Mire here. Citadel Gate. Just play a Lunarch Veteran. They're going to pass. No Wellsprings or Campfires or anything is pretty nice. Ooh, and we get our gate right away. I don't think we're using it this turn. I could just pump it up to try to hit for 4, which is not bad because then they have to like use a removal spell on it, but then I don't have a creature for next turn, so I think it's probably better to just wait a little bit and play a cat, gain a life, and we'll play the gate now. I don't want to show it, but I also don't want to miss hitting a gate, and then we'll obviously do one of these. They're just gonna drown here. Fair enough. And then they have the bog. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever here if they bog, but like, it's still 2 cards. But of course they have it. At least we get to cash grab after the fact, I suppose. Well, we get a Basilisk Gate. No creature, but I'm not complaining about another gate. Play Gold Meadow Nomad, Manor Gate on black here. Pass. Garden, Midnight Tilling, 3rd gate, and then I can bring back only one of these 2 guys. Is 3rd gate necessary? I don't know. 4, 5, 6, 7. So we aren't too far off from using it. It makes any creature like super lethal. I think we'll take it. What's the worst that could happen? Manor Gate. So here I think we're getting Lunarch Veteran back and then activating Gate on this guy. And obviously they can block, but at least we get through a blocker. Then I assume they Dread Return and hit another bog or something. Dread Return? Drowned Star is what I meant. They will block and sacrifice. They have a cast down for the Nomad. I'll gain a life. And they have a Bojuka Bog. Yup. I might as well cast this with Flashback, just in case they have like a Spinning Darkness or something. Well, now I need some more creatures. That's a pretty good one. I could just play Guardian, or I could try to pump this. If I pump it, I mean, obviously if I can hit for 13 here guaranteed, that's great. I think the chances we do that are very low. I don't feel like Guardian's super protected here. Like, they kept a hand without a lot of card draw. I assume that's because they have a lot of removal. So if they just have one way to kill it and then a Tithing Blade, we get got. But this is what we got. So we're going to play them out. Hope for the best. Defile on the Veteran. So see if they have the Tithing Blade. Extract Confession, same difference. All right. I mean, any creature we get is just like lethal, basically. Damn near. But unfortunately, we don't have any creatures, so. I mean, if we're both hitting land drops, it's not the worst thing ever for us. Give me a Malevolent Rumble, though. Oh, that'd be so good. Gold Meadow Nomad's not bad. Creature that comes back. And next turn, we're going to be able to do Triple Gate, which is 24 onto either of them. Well, either of them. Any creature. I would love more creatures, obviously, so we can diversify a little bit. They have a Troll of Khazad-dûm. Okay. We have a gate. I think we play this so we can activate. Probably not activating 3 times, but this lets us activate twice and hold up a Prismatic Strands in case they have like Spinning Darkness here. Yup. Hopefully that's all they have, and I can prevent it because it's damage from black sources. And then this gets enormous. It's not quite lethal, but it's still pretty good if they want to take it. Taking is probably the right call because, again, any creature I play is lethal. Well, any one creature I play can be lethal with all the gates, but I guess if I get multiple creatures now, I can have multiple lethal attackers. But yeah, Prismatic Strands actually did something, which is pretty cool. They do attack, so they have to have removal or another blocker or something. Extract Confession, sure. And a Spell Bomb. That is annoying. Please stop removing our graveyard. I mean, we don't have that many turns because they have a 3-turn clock on us, so please give me a creature. That is literally the best card I could have drawn. It is a creature that also finds me probably more creatures. Hopefully more creatures. Guardian, yes. Lunarch Veteran. We're not playing around board wipes or anything here. We're just going all in on the Guardian and as many creatures as we can to play around Edicts. Of course, if they have another Extract Confession, they can use that on the Guardian. Viscerated Insight, the Colony Plant, Wellspring. And even if they do get Extracted Confession for this, they also need a blocker or removal spell for the flyer and for the spawn. Viscerated Insight on the Wellspring. All right, we got the match. Another close one, but, and man, those Bojuka Bogs and Spell Bombs gave them so much value, but we ended up getting there. All right, round 3 here, and we're against Carves. This could be a tough one. We don't have a very good hand. Only one gate. Thraben Charms are... Carves plays Terror usually, so Thraben Charms are good against them. That almost makes me want to keep it. Sure, we'll give it a try. It's just not the best hand ever because we only have one creature we can play. We only have one gate. We don't have green mana. We don't have a way to dig and fill our graveyard. But because I think Thraben Charms are going to be good against our opponent, that kind of pushes it over the edge where it's still a very risky keep. But I figured we'd try it out at least. They go for a Delver, get another Veteran. Well, I'm probably just killing this Delver. I have another way to hit the graveyard, and if I get like a Battle Screech or something going, the Delver might not be that big of a deal. But if I don't, then it could be pretty problematic. So land drop is nice. Hit for 1. I mean, I wish it was a gate, obviously, but it does let me play Veteran and hold up a Thraben Charm. But I mean, if they brainstorm Thought Scour or like double Thought Scour here, maybe I Thraben Charm, but other than that, I'm not gonna be doing that. Thought Scour hits 2 islands, so definitely not going for it yet. I mean, I guess just an untapped land so I can Battle Screech is not a bad idea. I'm not gonna Thraben Charm I'm not gonna Basilisk Gate for +1 damage here when I would not be holding up Thraben Charm. They're gonna Thought Scour, they hit Ponder Thought Scour, so they could play a 4-mana Terror. Don't really expect that. Sleep of the Dead, and then they're going to go for a Terror? Sure. I'd rather exile the Sleep. No, they're not even going to do that. They're definitely going to counter this, but hopefully I draw an untapped land, I guess, and I can Battle Screech. There's the counter spell. Gold Meadow Nomad. Swing for 1. Play this guy. Yeah, hand is just super awkward. The Battle Screeches are not bad in this deck, but you really want to mill them much more than in like White Weenie. At least that's my current understanding. Put this on green, and I can't attack. I'll probably Prismatic Strands here just to get it out of my hand and use the mana. Unfortunately, it doesn't let me ambush their guy, and they have a Force Spike, sure. I'm not going to flash it back. I'd rather flash it back when we could, like, eat their Serpent or something. They're just trying to get some Force Spike value, which is totally reasonable, not to mention it makes their Terror cheaper, so I get it. Well, Battle Screech. Yep, another counterspell. Play Guild Gate. I will flash back Battle Screech. Gains a bunch of life. I mean, not bad. Thought Scour. Hit some spells. Mental Note. 2 terrors. I think we're just taking 11 here. I could Prismatic, but again, we're not ambushing their guys, so like, I'm just gaining some life there. That doesn't feel great, especially if they get more Serpents. And a Demon Furier. Well, that's a little annoying. But, I mean, with no spells in their hands, it's not a terrible spot for us. Prismatic Strands is good. Obviously, we're going to Battle Screech again. Gain some life. Flashback. Gain some life. We do have 5 power here, so I could attack for 1 with the bird token, but it probably makes more sense to hold back, and if they go for an attack, I could quintuple block, go for Prismatic Strands, although if they have a Lorien, that's pretty good too. If they had a counter spell, then that'd be pretty bad. They'd trade for everything, but they don't, it looks like. They have another Deem. Yeah, okay. That's really annoying. That makes it so that I can't... The fact that they got Lorien into land and Demon Furier, so now they can attack, and I can't even eat their guy. So, like, it's kind of a free attack. I'll obviously Strands on blue. We have another Strand, so, like, we're not in a terrible spot, but it's just a bit unfortunate we couldn't force them to hold back there. How much damage do we have? 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, I don't think we're using the gate here, after all. Playing an Anointer Priest. Well, actually, they can't kill us. Do I just want to put them to 5? Because I could hold up Prismatic, but they can only put us to 3. If I attack with everything, then they have to hold back, and they have to, like, sleep something. I actually think I do. Just go all in and swing with everybody. They go to 5, because unless they have, like, you know, Piracy Charms, which I'm not expecting, there's no way they can deal additional damage here. And if they hold back, then they're going to lose, because then we can, like, hit them with tokens, and we have the pump spells and stuff. So yeah, we get there actually. How is it That was a tricky one. We get Journeys, Spell Bombs. Guardian's expensive. I don't know if that's really worth it. Obviously, it's great if it lands on the field. Battle Screech actually was good there because if it gets countered, I can flash it back, and we can go around them like we saw. Prismatic's obviously amazing. Dawnbringer exiles a thing from a graveyard. It just doesn't do enough, I feel like. Draven Charms and Spell Bombs are obviously good. And Journeys are good. So I think we're going to try it without the Guardians. They're just expensive if they get countered. Get rid of some of these, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't even care about the Journeys as much because I have Prismatic Strands and I have tons of chump blockers. Again, we have Draven Charms, Journey, but we only have one land. I don't think we can keep that. Okay, this one's not exciting, but we do have some lands, we have some life gain, and we have Rumble, which can hopefully find something good. I'm just going on a Guild Gate. They have Force Spike, so I'm not even like fully dodging a counterspell by playing the Veteran like right away. Not that I care too much if it gets countered, but obviously I don't want to get Force Spiked. That said, I'll probably get Force Spiked here because I have too many gates that I want to play for me to want to play a Plains just to get one Lunar Veteran through. They have a Brainstorm, play an island, they pass, Battle Screech. So what are we doing here? I could Lunar Veteran and then flashback Lunar Veteran. That's probably what we want to do. If they have another Force Spike, that's fine. If not, we can have a lot of life gain again. The double Lunarch Veteran is like pretty dang good against them with like Battle Screeches and stuff. They actually gut shot our guy. Fair enough. Thought Scour. Well, I'm prepared to see like 3 terrors this turn. There's a Cryptic Serpent, there's a Terror, and there's a Delver. Okay. Not quite. Cash grab. Well, we're going to Rumble. We hit a Battle Screech. We can't quite play it this turn. Gold Meadow Nomad. I mean, I guess we get the Sacred Cat back because it gets more lives this way. Do I want to Rumble again? No, I just waste a spawn that I can chump with. Probably just play a cat here. Guild Gate. They only have 1 card in hand. That's the only thing we have going for us. Delver doesn't flip. Okay, that's a second thing we have going for us. Thought Scour hits a Deep Analysis. That's pretty good for them. I think, like, if we hit a Prismatic Strands, it's fine if we take a bunch of damage, but this spawn does not do a lot for us. Like, it gives us some mana, but it doesn't cast Battle Screech. So I think we just jump, absorb some of the damage there. They have another Serpent and Cycle Lorien for an island, which they play. All right, Basilisk Gate is something we're looking for. I have a Battle Screech in the grave, so I was going to say I could Battle Screech from hand, which is true, but I want to be looking for those Basilisk Gates, and Prismatic Strands. So let's Rumble. We do find a gate. We got to take that. We also find a cat in the grave, so this could make cat a 5/5 for the turn if I want to go for that. I'm fine with the trade. Plus I gain 5 life. But I have to either not play Battle Screech. Yeah, I think I want to, though. Let's get back another cat. Play Gold Meadow Nomad. We're wasting a little bit of mana that way. I could just Battle Screech from hand and from grave. That might actually be better. I do use a spawn this way, but gain a lot of life. Flashback, flashback. We go up to 25. They have potentially 20 on us. That's so much damage, but not lethal. And I could chump a couple if I want to offset it. Also depends on if they want to leave anything back, because if they don't, unless they get like a Sleep of the Dead, then I can like hit him with a cat, gain 5, which is pretty good. They flip off of Delver with a Gut Shot. Well, that's really annoying. Gut Shot just nerfs our Basilisk Gate plan. Flashback, Deep Analysis, another Terror, Island. What are they tapping 3 mana for? I don't think there's a Sleep of the Dead in their grave. Yeah, they leave back the Aberration. Let's see, if I block here, we take 11 to 14. I think I just take it. If we can mill or find a Prismatic Strands, it changes things a lot. We're at 7. There's a Strands. Okay. So I probably just hold back this turn. Cash grab. Try to hit a land drop so I can get back like a second cat. And then we can Strands. Ooh, Journey. Do I even want a Journey? I could take Journey, exile this, bring back cat, block. We're dying. No, that's no good. I think we just want a Plains here. Prismatic Strands is already our removal of choice, I think. Oh, and we milled a Prismatic Strands. That's phenomenal. Get back a Sacred Cat. Actually, does that mean I even need to hold this one up? I could just play 2 more Knights or Nomads. What if they have a counterspell? I think we're fine. What if they don't attack? Then that's also fine. Yeah, let's just pass. Attack just with the Aberration. I mean, that's actually not like they're trying to bait a Prismatic, and that's totally fine because I can actually just I have another Strands in hand, so I actually don't mind using one here. And then it opens up our skies to just hit them for a bunch. They have another Delver, but that doesn't even flip yet necessarily. The Raven Charm. So I could pump on a cat, force the Gut Shot. I think that's worth it. I could pump on a bird, but I don't think we want to do that. Yeah, we're gonna go for the cat. Yeah. So if they don't gut shot, I can just gain 5, and that's great too. I assume they will, but I still have double prismatic strands from grave. I just get to hit them for 6 now, which means we're basically lethal next turn. Get back a Sacred Cat. I have a Thraben Charm, but they don't even have a graveyard I care about at the moment. I think we just play 2 more 1/1s, or 1/2s actually. Gain some life. This does seem like a good matchup for us because we have Thraben Charms, Prismatics, which are generally the death of terror, not to mention a million chump blockers and life gain. And we win the match. All right, 3-0. All right, on the play. Hand looks pretty decent. I'm pretty sure any hand with just a bunch of cash grabs and rumbles is kind of how we want to start, because not only does it fill our graveyard, which is already card advantage if we hit a bunch of embalm things, but also it just lets us find our gates, our creatures, and everything else we could want. I think I'll just play a plains here and go for a cash grab if they tap out or whatever. Could be against another Force Spike or Spell Pierce deck. And okay, actually it looks like familiars. So that's good to know. Anointer Priest, just a creature or a land drop. I'm going to take a land here, I think. That's not bad. Let's just rumble into Basilisk Gate for sure. Play a Selesnya Gate. I feel like we keep milling a bunch of these mill spells with the mill spells, which is, obviously not good hits, but it's fine. Assuming they don't have Snap mana up, I might start using Basilisk Gate pretty quickly here. Probably not turn 3. It's tough because they are also going to just have so much life gain that maybe the Basilisk Gate doesn't matter. I'm just going to kill this with the Thraben Charm, I think. Plus we have another one, which is nice. So Sacred Cat, Thraben Charm. Yeah. Then play a Citadel Gate and pass the turn. They have another one and a Mortuary Mire. Well, not going to be able to deal with all of them, unfortunately. They snap the cat and play a Murmuring Mystic. Well, I need to kill that. So, which I can. Play the cat again. Play an Anointer Priest. Thraben Charm the Mystic. I guess we're just going to have to deal with there being 2 familiars on the field and hope for the best. But Mystic is not one we can get around because it could have infinite jump blockers. It could do a lot of other stuff too. There's another familiar. They're going to Meeting of Minds to draw 2. Seagate Oracle. Prismatic Strands is going to be a pretty easy cut from this deck because it doesn't do really anything here. We're going to Cash Crab. Get another Guild Gate. Play that, pump onto the Sacred Cat, swing for 6, see if they have like an Ephemerate or something. Looks like yes. Bring back another cat, gain a life. Ephemerate, Archaeomancer, gets back Ephemerate, Muldrifter, Hardcast. With Ephemerate in hand, this match feels impossible already. Like, they just have blockers. We have double gate, but it doesn't matter. Like, they're going to gain infinite cards. I don't have any way to really stop them because we already used 2 Thraben Charms. Well, we get Journeys, Spell Bombs. I guess Guardian can get through. If it doesn't get countered, that might be okay. Battle Screech doesn't matter. Strands doesn't matter. Dawnbringer Cleric exiles 1 thing from a graveyard. That's not very good. I think we'll try this. Like, they just have too many blockers, so I think we need the Guardians. And they have too many important creatures to kill with only 4 removal spells. Not to mention Graveyard Hate. We need both. And it's great that this is both, but every time we use one, we use up 2 of the potential, uses for it. I don't know what I'm saying. All right, we're on the play here. This hand, if we had another land, would be good. This one is decent. We'll keep and get rid of this Gold Meadow Nomad, I think. Play a gate, play a cat, and another gate. Manor Gate. We're going to rumble and take this Guardian of the Guild Pact. Play Manor Gate on black and pass. They have a Seagate Oracle. If we get an untapped land, actually, even without that, I could just cast the Guardian with the spawn. Probably do. Getting it down before they can have like a prohibit up is probably pretty good. And we're only hitting gates, so if we find a Basilisk Gate, this could be a pretty quick clock, I would say. One I assume they can't deal with. Godfair is Faithful. Fortunately, we didn't get the gate and we don't have a way to find it right now. So we'll swing for 2, which is not going to be a very fast clock. We will Sacred Cat and just pass. They're going to Meeting of Minds to draw 2. They're going to try to Ephemerate the Seagate Oracle. I think that's too much value to let go. I can get a 2 for 1, and if I don't do that, then they get like a 3 for 1, but obviously Seagate Oracle is not really the type of card I want to be using removal on in general. Another Faithful. They're definitely going to be able to offset our damage with 2 Faithfuls if I can't get a gate. A Basilisk Gate, that is. There's a Mystic. I was going to Journey to Nowhere it, but I'd rather a more permanent solution, maybe. I guess having the ability to hit the graveyard is pretty good, though. With Thraben Charm, sure. We'll go for this still. It's worse if they have, like, enchantment removal, but I guess we'll hope they don't have that. Deal 2, gain 2, pass. There's the Destroy Evil. Wish I could stifle that. Chancery. Well, I could 3 Enchantment now, but obviously the concern was they now have Prohibit up, potentially. I guess I could 3 Enchantment again, but I think for now we're just going to pass. Sack their landscape. To be honest, Mystic isn't the biggest concern if I can just get a way to deal, like, because it can't block the Guardian, so I don't care too much about that. If I can just get a way to pump the Guardian, please. That's not it. They didn't do anything, so they don't have... they want us to attack into this probably for like a Meeting of Minds, and then they kill our cats. I don't play a land. They're going to pass Manor Gate. Well, when we get there, it's going to be so good. Swing for 2. They seem to be, I don't know, flooded or just holding on to only counter spells, which is good, but that's not going to last forever, and as soon as they hit a draw spell, we're kind of toast, I think. Chancery. Cash Grab. Well, are they just going to counter this? Probably. I almost want to bait. I kind of want to kill the, go for a Thraben Charm on the Mystic so that they try to counter this instead. I guess they could have like a snap for a cat or whatever. Negate. I could use another Thraben Charm and still cash grab and activate on the Guardian. I'm also giving them life, which I don't like, but I just think they clearly have just like a whole bunch of counter spells, and I really need this cash grab to find a Basilisk Gate, is my thought. They have a snap to hit our cat. Well, now I'm going to cash grab, see if they have anything for that. And if they do, then we've just wasted all of this to give them a bunch of birds and life. Or I don't even hit the Basilisk Gate I needed, and I get a Journey to Nowhere, which I guess is fine too, but I'll deal it not enough damage. And then I guess we'll try to Journey to Nowhere it as well. And then they have an Ephemerate or something? Or another snap? Yeah. Well, imagine all that happened, and then I got my gate, and I gave +8 to this. That'd be pretty good, right? This deck really needs like 3 or 4 more copies of Basilisk Gate. I'm not sure why we're only running 4, honestly. Preordain, sure. Swing for 3, Lunarch Veteran. I feel like we only have like 1 more turn to hit that gate, or we're gonna lose, because birds are gonna come in. We don't really have long to dilly-dally. Sunscape Familiar, Mole Drifter, and then Meeting of Minds. I also need like Basilisk Gate into Basilisk Gate, because like the first one's only gonna deal 10. Now that that's not gonna be lethal in 2 turns, I feel like I need to draw them back to back. Preordain. They'll attack for 4. You get an Anointer Priest. Yeah, I think that's just game. Even if I find the Basilisk Gate now, they're going to have lethal on us in like 2 turns, and we're not going to have it. So, pretty unfortunate. It's been quite a few games where we've gone through half of our deck, or almost half, and just not hit a single gate. Basilisk, that is. All right, here's a hand that is gonna have at least 1 Basilisk Gate, so that seems good. Against more blue. Preordain, so probably not Terror. I think we're just gonna Malevolent Rumble to try to hit our next land drop so they can't counter it. There's a Basilisk Gate. And, I don't know, they could be Dimir Fairies, they could be more Azorius Familiars. Ash Barrens makes me think more Familiars. There's the Chancery. Okay, well, let's see if this one goes any better than the last one. I have the gates this time, which is nice. I mean, I'm not gonna complain, but I do actually need more lands that produce colored mana, so I think I'm gonna cash grab here to try to find one of those. Selesnya Gate, sure. Even just a second one I think is pretty good. Attack for 0, they pass. Okay, we get a Selesnya Guild Gate, so I could pump this up and attack for 4, but they probably just like snap it. I think we just bring back one of these guys and play an Anointer Priest, and probably do that in the other order so I gain a life first, but whatever. Oh, we also have a Battle Screech in our graveyard, so next turn I could just flood the board. Veteran, Sacred Cat, Gold Meadow, and then Battle Screech. Seems alright. They just have an Archaeomancer right away. Get back Preordain. Sure. Okay, well, life gain generally isn't the best thing against this opponent, but we're gonna gain a lot, so maybe it's decent. Here's a Sacred Cat, gain 2. Flashback Battle Screech is going to gain us 6, because the Anointer Priest also goes off. Basilisk Gate. Actually, I was not going to use the Basilisk Gate this turn, but we actually have this spawn, and we don't really need it anymore, so let's just go for it. Pump the Kithkin to try to hit for 6. There's a Godfarer's Faithful, and a Preordain. Play a Basilisk Gate, so we're going to pump 2 things. I'd rather they not be on the ground, and I'd rather they not be tokens, but those are our only options, so... Oh, they're just going to concede. Well... That one went a lot better than the first one, I think because we have gates. I wasn't expecting them to concede because they could have a snap or something to like snap the Archaeomancer after a block or whatever, but I was probably going to go pump 2 on the ground, Sacred Cat and Lunarch Veteran or something, but that was pretty good. I think we're doing what we did before. The Battle Screech actually didn't look terrible there, but I still think we're going to swap them out for the Guardians because, again, like if we land a Guardian as we did in that other match, we just need a Basilisk Gate and we will probably win the game. We have the 2 cards we want, but unfortunately this hand looks like trash. This hand I might keep against some opponents, but it just doesn't do anything very quickly. And the life gain is so irrelevant here that we're going to go down. This one's better just because we have a Basilisk Gate and a removal spell. It's still really bad, but I guess we're going to keep this one and do this. Like, at least we have a Rumble, even if we don't have green mana. We have a Journey. We have the Basilisk Gate. Hopefully we top deck a green gate here. No? Well, there's the green gate. Do I just want to get rid of the Familiar? Yeah, I think I need to. The earlier, the better. Swing for 1. They did also mulligan at least once. Yeah. And, okay, stuck on 2 lands. By taking this, I might have prevented them from playing like a Seagate Oracle or something, so that's pretty good. Hit for 1, play a Veteran, Citadel Gate on green. They pass to us. Manor Gate on green-white. I guess we'll go black here because we already have 2 white. All right, I think I Rumble. Yeah, I could get Basilisk Gate, but I think we Rumble first, and then they could have a counterspell, like that. They could also have a Snap, though, if I went for the gating it up, so not sure either one's really that much better. They did not get a land again. Manor Gate. All right, we're going to pump the Gold Meadow Nomad, and even if they have a Snap, I can just replay it, which they do. Swing for 2, replay that, gain a life. They hit their land, and there's a Evoked Mulldrifter. That's not the worst either. Gate. Would have loved another Basilisk Gate, but we'll take this. Pump, hit for, what is this? 8. They go to 6. They have an Archaeomancer, which can chump block, and they get back a Preordain. So if I get a removal spell, another Basilisk Gate, there's the removal spell. Then we will win. All right, 4-1 with this deck. Not bad at all. Pretty happy with a 4-1. Always a great record, and the deck felt not bad at all. I was a little worried about it because it felt like it was a deck that just had too many too many cards just dedicated to the game plan, with all of these creatures, a bunch of ways to mill, and then as far as interaction, it had 4 Thraben Charms and 4 Prismatic Strands for defensive interaction, and that was it. But the card advantage we got off of all of our Rumbles and cash grabs and stuff was pretty good, assuming we didn't get Bojuka Bogged immediately. We were able to just get a lot of creatures from the graveyard. The Battle Screeches were really good in certain matches. Certain ones, I was happy to take them out as well. Anointer Priest is certainly the worst of our creatures here, but it's still not bad as another creature that can come back, and as another pseudo Soul Sister. Obviously it only triggers on tokens, but most of our guys make tokens, so that's totally fine. I think the big issue with this deck is, unlike Coggates, where you have a lot of generically powerful cards, this deck relies so much more strongly on the Basilisk Gate. If we don't have the gate, we're just playing all of these tiny 1/1s, and we're not getting much out of it. Obviously, Coggates does the same thing, but with like Squadron Hawk and Brainstorm as a nice draw engine, you get Lorien Revealed, which is a really good card, you get Modern Age, which is not bad at all, and counterspells aren't too bad either. You have a lot more cards that, when the Basilisk Gate is not found, can stall you the game a little bit longer, whereas here it felt like if we didn't get a gate, as we saw, we just lost, and if we do get it, then we have a decent shot of winning. I'm not saying not more than just 9 of these is the answer, but we are a Gates deck with the Citadel Gate Manor Gates. We could maybe splash another color, so maybe some other color, maybe blue for cantrips, or maybe we just play some green cards that specifically tutor up any land or a Basilisk Gate. I know some Naya and Selesnya Gilgate decks have previously played like Gate Creeper Vine, which is nice to find Basilisk Gate, but I kind of hate because it's a defender in a deck where even just a 0 powered creature would be really strong to gate up. So I'm not necessarily suggesting that one, but it feels like we need more ways to find the Basilisk Gate. I also think if we're going to keep Battle Screech in, like I said, I wouldn't mind some way to pump the team. Ooh, Rally the Peasants. This is a card that I'm always adding to decks like this because I think it's really, really good. The fact that it flashes back works perfectly in the deck. Now, it does flash back for red, so you'd need to be conscious of putting some Citadel Gates or Manor Gates on red for the flashback. But I think 1 or 2 copies of this in the deck in place of maybe a Prismatic Strands or the Dawnbringer Cleric, which I didn't care much for, could be pretty nice. I also wouldn't have minded a Guardian or 2 in the main deck, just to have some way to catch your opponent off guard. It is a nice thing to side into when they're not expecting it, but I think like 1 copy in the main deck and then a bunch more on the sideboard is not a bad idea at all. Or this would probably be a little bit at odds with the Rally the Peasants being red. I almost don't hate putting some like hand attack in the sideboard because some of the matches, like the Azorius Familiars, the first match felt like it was really tough for us to do anything about. And if we had some like Duresses in the sideboard, I think it could have been pretty decent, which obviously you can also splash pretty easily. So a few things to play around with, but the deck actually felt really good and was pretty enjoyable. So go ahead and give this deck a try if you're interested. I think it's pretty sweet. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.